Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. So I should be working on that Malibu today, but I'm not. I'm working on the Rendezvous instead, just trying to fix a couple of annoying things. I bought this car for $200, but they had some stupid little thing hooked up to the radio right here. These are extension cables, and this was soldered on, and this is taped and running somewhere. It ran to this thing. It had a headphone jack coming out the side there. They could plug in their phone, and their phone would work on the rear speakers, but the radio never did put out any rear speaker sound. It only worked on the front speakers. So I don't want the stupid headphone jack thing. I'll just listen to some music CDs. So what I found though is that since they did this to this extension cable, I could just remove that and plug the radio direct in to its two cables here, and it worked, and the rear speakers take off and they work just fine. So they somehow had that like bypassing the speakers, or they must have another module in here somewhere that hooks up, but I don't see where they placed the other module at. I mean, oh, it's this little thing right here. It's this dumb thing. Okay. So this dumb thing right here is, well, that says GM auxiliary audio. Oh, well, it's not made by GM. It's for GMs. It's for an auxiliary audio input. And it says it should work on all the speakers, but it doesn't. So I don't know if it's malfunctioning or what the heck. It goes to some kind of an amp or something down here too. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave all that in here. I'm not gonna mess with it, but I'll just tuck this crap back down in here and unhook and bypass that. And then we have our speakers work now on the radio. But the other thing, the annoying thing, is this thing has a light out that's out in it. So I took it all apart. You have to take a bunch of screws out of it. This goes on the back of it. Take a bunch of those screws out of it and then plugged it back in. And now I'm going to turn on my parking lights and see which light doesn't work. There's a light right there that's not working. And there is a light right there, and that one does work. So it's this light bulb on this side, and I'll show you how we take that out, and then we'll run down to AutoZone and see if we can find another one. I don't think I have any of those small ones. Okay, so it's this bulb right here that won't come out. We should just be able to twist this and then pop it up out of here. And it takes one of those tiny little bulbs right there. So now we gotta run down to AutoZone and see if we can find one of those. That way I can see my heater controls at night. I can't tell where the buttons are or what I'm pressing at night. That will light that back up for me, and that will work again. And then we'll put this whole mess back together. They make it so that you have to tear the kick panel off and this whole thing off to get to the radio, rather than just making this a separate piece that just pops off. I don't know. My radio was darn near made on a Mexican holiday. It was made on the 2nd of Mayo, but it was almost made on the Cinco de Mayo. So, you know, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'll run to the AutoZone. We'll come back. We'll see if we can put all this stuff back together and get it all working. Then I'll have rear speakers and a light for my heater controls. I'm not going to know what to think. This thing is going to be worth way more than $200 when I'm done. I'm telling you. It's just, it's $200. I put nearly 50,000 miles on it so far, and no major problems. So I can't complain. The air conditioning works too. Hey, you can't beat that. All right, let me go get this, and then I will be back. Well, AutoZone does not carry this little tiny bulb. Advance doesn't carry it either. Places like AutoZone and Advance are the reason, like places like Amazon exist, because they suck now. They don't carry half of anything that you need. It's crazy. Limited inventory. So I'm gonna go on Amazon, order up some of these. I know I've got about one in my instrument cluster too that I need to fix. I'm just gonna leave this tour apart for now and drive my other car, because I don't want to put this whole thing back together and then have to tear it all apart again. It's a pain in the butt to get that cover off. So we'll just drive our other car for now, or I'll drive the truck, one or the other, and we'll wait and we'll get it. But then I'll be happy. In case the guy at AutoZone connects to my channel, I just wanted to let him know he's wrong. You can't not just not buy that bulb. You don't just have to replace a whole cluster. You can buy the bulbs. In fact, you can get 20 of them for $10 delivered to my door tomorrow on Amazon. Now the CD player in my Buick Lucerne does not want to read CDs. I know that CDs are totally like 2005, but I still have CDs that I like to listen to when I drive. So I'm gonna have to take this radio out and see if I need to clean it or what. It did work like years ago when I used it, a couple years ago, but I haven't used it lately. But I want to listen to my CDs while I drive now, and it don't work. You just put one in there and it says loading disk, and then it says there's no readable files on the disk, and it spits it back out at you. Probably just needs like some cleaning or something, like the laser thing. We're gonna see if we can take it apart and fix it. Let me get some little sockets here to pull these out, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, I got the radio tore out, and I got this part apart. I got the covers off right there and there, all these screws, and then this front cover just pops off. It just seats up against these things. It doesn't have any cables that go to the front cover. But then here's the CD player. I got to get to the head to clean it off with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. I think we're going to take these 4 little screws out and be careful not to tear this cable right here, and just flip that off to the side, and then we can get down there and find that head with a Q-tip and clean it off. So we're going to give it a shot here. I'm going to take it inside and do the rest of this. Alright, I took those 4 little screws out and laid that off to the side. And there we can see our read-write head. So what we're going to do is try cleaning that off with a little bit of stuff. We're going to make sure that it can move back and forth as well, and maybe put a little bit of lube on that gear down there, just to make sure that's all lubed up and the thing's not jammed, and then we'll try it again. Alright, so I cleaned this head on it right there, and on this slide rail in the back here, I went ahead and lubed that up really good with some Extreme Weapons grease. Alright, and now that actually moves a lot easier than it did before, so that could have been part of the problem too. So now we'll just put this all back together and we'll give it a shot and see if she works. Okay, I got it all back together. I got all the screws back in it, and everything seemed to go back together pretty well. Now we're gonna go test it and see if it works. Alright, so here we go. Let me turn this down so I don't get a copyright strike. I have some royalty-free YouTube music I burnt on a CD. We'll put that in. We'll see if it works. Oh, track 1. Yes, it works. Yes. Woo! A little cleaning with the Q-tip and a little grease. And I have a perfectly good radio. That way, I don't have to get another radio and then pay $45 for the GM software to program this one. And I also saw what kind of style this jack was, which this jack is bad. So I could order one of those and solder a new one in there and fix that jack. But now I will have all my music, and this is royalty-free YouTube ad music, but I actually like the song. They have some pretty good music on that YouTube revenue free to use music, whatever the YouTube audio library, that's what it's called. But now I can drive along and have my CD player while my CD player's not working in my rendezvous over there because I'm waiting on those bulbs to come tomorrow. So if I gotta go to Lima or Mansfield, I'm set. I'm set to cruise and have some easy listening. All right, I think this is gonna be it, folks. I'll talk to you all later. It's Tom, your Frugal Prepper.